time with those 5 rounds, you want to find, if I do this, my opponent will do this. If I do this, my opponent will do this. That's what that feeling out process is for, so that later on in the fight, they can take advantage of those natural instincts based on movement.
A jab came through from Keita after answering a right hand from Nick Burnham. A nice sprawl there from Keita, Jeremy, and Burnham shot the takedown, but Keita able to prevent it from happening, although now dragged down to the ground by Nick Burnham.
Excellent takedown defense by Dauda Keita, but the problem is he still was locked up with Nick Burnham, and when you're locked up with a wrestler of Nick Burnham's caliber, it's just a matter of time before you end up on the ground. Dauda Keita needing to keep this fight at distance, but he said he wasn't afraid to go to the ground. He said, let's see what Nick Burnham has down there. I'm pretty good on the ground too.
Keita so far limiting the damage that Burnham can do, but Burnham very experienced in this mounted position. Again, no strikes to the head of a downed opponent, although little face wash with the elbow there. Not technically a strike, so you get away with that one.
Those dirty elbows.
Burnham on top, posturing up, dropping a fist into the solar plexus of Dauda Keita.
When you look at Nick Burnham, he actually didn't cut any weight for this fight. He said he was about a pound over the weight, and the only reason he had to cut down a pound was because this being a true championship fight, you have to fight at the exact weight class. There is no pound limit. So that's what he said. It took me about 30 minutes to cut that pound.
Also has a pre-fight tradition of ice cream. Had to take him out to the Dairy Queen last night for
butter chicken.
Burnham now transitioning into side control.
It's an excellent pass. It's one of those situations where in amateur fights, it's almost you want to keep people in the mount as compared to that side control. There's so much more damage that can be done in side control under these Calgary amateur rules.
Yeah, we've already seen one knee that came high up on the shoulder. That one into the midsection of Keita, as Burnham again continues on top. No panic from Dauda Keita. I'm not sure there's a situation that I can imagine where he would panic, but Keita holding him down. Burnham not having any of that. Pops back into the mount, lands a couple more punches to the side. Keita trying to scramble out, but Burnham holding him down and keeping himself on top at the end of round 1. And the door is ready to go, and round 2 now underway as Burnham and Keita meet again at the center of the cage.
Good strike there from Keita.
Both fighters landing one. Both fighters throwing the kick and immediately a shot in response. Not all that surprising, Jeremy, that Burnham wants to get this fight to the ground.
Well, again, Keita's got some extra length, and he's very fast. He's very fast, even to the point where he's able to get in on the very good defense of Nick Burnham. So if you can take him down, that negates that speed. Keeping him down on the ground is exactly what Nick Burnham's strategy has got to be to negate that speed of Keita.
Burnham on top of Keita, not able to do much damage up there so far, Jeremy. Again, same as the first round. Good defense from the bottom from Keita, but again, you can't be on your back like this for too long without securing a submission attempt of your own, unless you're going, if you want to win the round. You can't spend your round on your back and hope that you are going to be declared the winner.
Well, you look at the legs of Nick Burnham, and everybody's looking at the head and seeing where those fists are landing. A lot of work is being done here at the feet. Nick Burnham is taking away that power. You see as he hooks in those legs and keeps them from being able to push up. Every time the Keita tries to push up, the legs get pushed out, the power base goes away, the position remains the same.
Again, more punches landed, this time to the shoulder. Keita responds, now moving into side control. Burnham continues to pin Keita down, and you can see him trying to bust out, Jeremy, but he's unable to do so. Nick Burnham, like you mentioned, a lot of weight in a tight package, a little, a smaller body, and Burnham very top heavy in his build, and as a result, when he's laying on you, really takes a lot more effort to get out from underneath him.
And here's some knees to the side of Nick Burnham. And a pretty dominant performance so far by Burnham. Every time that he's been in trouble, he's been able to take it to the ground and work this position. Again, I think these rules for a fighter like Burnham kind of work against him. He's not able to strike to the head. That's a specific rule to the Calgary Commission that they adopted. But so far, it hasn't really paid dividends for Nick Burnham, this rule set. He has fought under amateur rules where he is allowed to strike to the head depending on the commission. But again, each commission a little bit different. It's good advancing to the rules, but so perhaps some strategy here by Nick Burnham to continue to lay on top and land even the littlest bits of damage.
Blood coming from the nose of Nick Burnham. Now lands a strike right at the end of the second round, and it's been 2 rounds of this fight so far. It's been 2 rounds of Nick Burnham on top.
For some reason, just the cage will not close for this championship fight. And here's some rushing forward by Nick Burnham.
Nice knee from Keita to the rib cage.
And again, perhaps Burnham wants to exchange in a stand-up position, because he's obviously not been able to solve Dauda Keita on the ground. But as I say that, of course, a leg attack by Burnham's got the hands locked, slides up to the back, and now he's right in front of us at our broadcast position. And again, a nice takedown by Nick Burnham, and this is a place where Dauda Keita does not want to be 3 rounds in a row.
No, for the 3rd straight round, like you mentioned, Jeremy, Nick Burnham shooting for the takedown, securing the takedown, winding up on top, and we'll see if Dauda Keita can get out of it this time. Sometimes it's a matter of learning your opponent's tendencies, finding the hole. Sometimes it takes a little longer than you'd like, but at the end of the day, you find the spot, you get out, and you're able to work it to your advantage. But so far for here, it's Nick Burnham on top.
A good transition to mount and posturing up and landing 2 big shots to the stomach and then the chest, respectively, of Dauda Keita.
Nick Burnham again on top here in the 3rd round of a possible 5 of the 155-pound title on the line.
He has got some position here with that arm triangle. He's on the right side, so now in the mount, you'll look that he'll transition right here towards us. He'll wait for his opportunity to step there. Once it's locked in, now here's the step over. He needs to get to this side, but a very dangerous position here for Nick Burnham. Dauda Keita is in a lot of trouble if Nick Burnham can get over top of him.
And again, trying to soften up with shots to the body. Maybe turning Keita to that side to try and make it easier to pass over. Keita rolling away from it, but again, eating big punches to the midsection, Jim, and you can see those ones are having effect. We often talk about those body punches from the top not having an effect, but Nick Burnham is throwing with intention.
Well, Keita was able to free up his arm away from his head, therefore allowing him to get some extra air, some extra blood into that brain, because it was starting to get a little tough. And now a bit of a transfer, and you can see the explosiveness of Dauda Keita underneath. He's just unable to get through Nick Burnham.
Yeah, he was using the cage as a wall walk there, almost got all the way through it, but Burnham able to bounce off the cage on the other side of the corner and find himself back on top.
Short time remaining with 25 seconds in the 3rd round. All Nick Burnham so far, as he's been able to take Dauda Keita down, but when they're standing, it is pretty neutral. So this has got to be the strategy for Nick Burnham. Take away that fast striking by Dauda Keita.
Yeah. It's one of those things with a height advantage and a reach advantage. Everybody's the same height on the ground. And Burnham again, Keita almost popped out, Jeremy, but Burnham able to hold him down. I'm willing to bet that one bounced off the cage at some point, and some blood on the big toe of Nick Burnham, as well as bleeding from the nose still. But again, it's been circle in, and again, no hesitation. Burnham threw a couple punches, immediately went for the takedown, secured it, and is in side control.
And you miss nothing. You got that toe being bleeding. You are just so good at this. As you see a close-up shot, again, a very calm face on Dauda Keita. He's not panicked. However, at this point in the fight, we got to know he's down 3 rounds. Maybe perhaps it's time for some panic.
Well, it's interesting, Jeremy. It harkens back to the original days of UFC when Royce Gracie would lie on his back for 25 minutes, just holding the guy, making sure he didn't do any damage, frustrating his opponent with an inability to finish, and then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, the guy's arm would be broken. His opponent's arm would be broken and Royce would have his hand raised. So it's that kind of patience on the bottom, waiting for your opponent to make a mistake and knowing that it's about winning the fight, not winning the round. And that may be what Dauda Keita is trying to do here, find a way to win the fight even from the bottom.
Nick Burnham continues to swarm, as you hear from the corner, some bad intentions now. Let's get some bad intentions going. I think that the corner of Burnham is saying, hey, look, you got to work to try and do some damage here and slow this guy down, because if he gets back standing, he's very dangerous. In fact, we saw it before the takedown here. Dauda Keita landed 2 counters and got Nick Burnham flat on the nose, so he has that ability to land that punch accurately. He just needs an opportunity.
Keita trying desperately to twist out of this position, kicking off the cage, but Burnham again weighing him down, holding him down, using his top heavy build to hold Keita on the ground. And so far, Nick Burnham, for the better part of 3.5 rounds, Jeremy, has been in control of this fight.
In the side control, less than a minute remaining in our 4th of 5 championship rounds.
And again, a nice transition into the mount. And it's important, Jeremy, to keep working. We've seen fights like this in the past where a guy's been on top of another guy, he's not working enough, and the referee will stand them back up. Nick Burnham has done enough to continue to allow the referee to assume he's pursuing a finish, that he's trying to end the fight, that he's working in this position and not just laying praying like we've seen some MMA guys do for wins in their career.
Up on top, Nick Burnham posturing up quite high, and you see those slams as Dauda Keita is holding on. Nick Burnham is pulling him up and slamming him down. Any way to do some damage for Nick Burnham, and again, that nice shoulder block. You can't strike the head of a down opponent, so he has to be very careful in this situation.
Again, 5th and final round here as Dauda Keita out of the red corner in the red trunks takes on Nick Burnham out of the blue corner in the white shorts.
Look for some gamesmanship here. If Dauda Keita doesn't come out swinging and Nick Burnham immediately shoots, then there's some gamesmanship going on. That's good, excellent coaching that kept Dauda Keita from coming out and trying to end the fight with one shot. Had he done that, he would have been taken down. Nick Burnham was ready for it. That said, now this is where Keita needs to work. He needs to get those hands flying. He needs to throw big kicks like that. And it did catch him a little bit on the chin. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was completely entirely intentional, but most of the foot hit the chest, but some of it did hit the chin. And I bet we've got some fantastic people who are working in our truck that will be able to find that for us.
Yes. It looks like the kick was attempted to the chest.
Here's the replay of it right now. It hit the neck. I think some gamesmanship by Burnham. It did not hit him in the chin.
I'm going to say it hit him in the side of the chin, certainly the neck area. No surprise there. The beard's out, so it hit him in the beard. And Keita hearing it from the fans after refusing to touch gloves.
And a leg kick spinning back fist attempt there, and that was planned, but the no touching of the gloves again. Perhaps Keita has a point here because it was gamesmanship. It was close, and I understand the refs did. First off, a big thank you to our crew here at Hard Knocks. They were able to get exactly the angle that we needed, and they do a fantastic job for us every time. Yeah, Nick Burnham is working from the top. He's secured takedowns every single round. Has it been a dominant performance? Yes. Has it been explosive? Has Dauda Keita ever looked to be in danger of being finished? I don't think so. And that lends this to saying, hey, perhaps this is just the wrong stylistic matchup for Dauda Keita. This is not an opponent at which his game really matches the way you want it to. So as they continue to go through, you see Nick Burnham on top, landing some positional punches now on the side. Let's working to see if he can land some of these knees. He has moved now over onto the top in the half guard of Dauda Keita, but again, this has got to be, if nothing so far, a 4 rounds, if not now 5 rounds straight dominant performance by Nick Burnham.
Yeah, Nick Burnham has done everything he needed to here to win this fight and take home the title. Dauda Keita is going to have to come away with something big here to end up, he's going to have to finish the fight, and I don't think Dauda Keita has not shown anything from the bottom that he's going to be able to finish this fight. So far, it's been Nick Burnham just laying on top of his opponent and doing damage while he's there. I like to think if this were a pro fight, there would have been a couple more punches to the face. He might have been able to finish this fight even from this position, but he's just been on top of Keita, doing damage, laying it down, and doing everything he can to win the fight. And Nick Burnham is going to be your new 155 amateur champion.